Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Neels Moir, otherwise known as Neels Boshoff. That's also a story of its own. And I'm basically anything from a filmmaker to a singer-songwriter and a little bit of other stuff, which is not really important right now. Because as a musician, it's always good to have something on the side. But that's not priority. So that's basically me, singer-songwriter and filmmaker. It's a very interesting story, and I want to cut it short. I have like a cousin that plays a bit of trumpet here, and someone that dabbles in a bit something there, but nobody has really taken it serious. And my grandfather was in the military. We all come from a military background, and he was in the Second World War, and he was a comedian. And my grandmother said to him, "You got to choose either family or comedy," and he chose comedy. And later in my life, I discovered that I'm assuming I got some of the talents from my grandfather. And so that's the only one I can track down as art, just sort of entertaining, kind of orientated in our family. And so in the early stage, when I made my decision to go into the performing arts, I kept him in mind, and I thought, I'm going to live his dream that he could never live. So yeah, he's basically the only one that I know of. Yeah. Well, let's track it down. I'm 49. I'm turning 50 in February. I started actually before. I ended up South African Navy band in Simonstown, and I played trumpet at school. So it depends on what you see as performance industry. I would say Navy. I went into the Navy. I was 17 years old. So yeah, that would make it many, many years, eh? Yeah. So that's over 30. Yeah. I don't want to get too much into my childhood, but as a child, I used music as an escape. It was just, songs. There were lyrics in songs that took me to worlds that I would have loved to envision myself in, to get out of my environment, kind of thing, But truly, what inspired me to actually do something with it was, I'm a believer, and I believe that God gave me a gift. And as much as I didn't really have a temperament as an artist, I felt a sense of responsibility to use a gift that I was given. Because it's such a waste to get given this gift that other people would desire with everything within them, and you do nothing with it. So my main drive was inherently understanding that I got something for free that I have a responsibility to do something with. And what drove me from there on is to identify what the responsibility was, what I needed to do with that. Now that's altogether another story. That's reaching people, that's using music's platform to get in touch with people. It just moves from there. But inherently what drove me was the sense of responsibility to use the gift that I was given. And secondly, the enjoyment that I saw in people's faces when the gift was shared, In your question, you've just hit the nail on the head of the most important or most dangerous saying any artist could use. And I'm happy you brought it up. It's, "I just want to sing." Understand that the places that you just want to sing at are owned by businessmen who just want to make money. And rightfully so, they are businessmen. But if you as an artist don't understand that singing is just another product, whether you're selling Epal dog biscuits, whether you're selling any hard, tangible thing, it is just the market, it is just the product that changes, but the principle of business remains the same. And you got to understand that you're nothing but a product. And with a product, there's what the product is worth. There's which market you sell that product to. There's a whole strategy that comes with a product. So the first thing that you got to understand is that whether you like it or not as a singer, you are already in business. So it's good for you to understand how business works. Because if you don't want to make money out of yourself, somebody else will capitalize on your gifting. And not alone will they capitalize on it, they might, that 90% of the time, exploit it. Not because they are malicious, they are clever businessmen. You see, what is malicious to me is just clever business to you. And if a businessman can get away with making more money, he's not doing anything wrong, he's just doing clever business. And it leaves many, many artists very despondent and discouraged, because what you have now is the artist just wants to sing. He doesn't have the temperament of business. He doesn't get someone to represent him. Now he's scared to take on the client because he's scared that if he asks for his money, the client's not going to book him again. So now we're going to another area now, representation, but let's come back to your question. So firstly, understand the business of music. It's called show business for a reason. show, and business. And I think a lot of artists get stuck on show and forget the business. And the problem is they work a lot on their show, but it's in the business that their careers crash. If you think about how many artists all over the world come out of idols every year, we're sitting with trillions of brilliant singers. How can we never hear from them? Because somewhere along the line, they thought it was enough to just be spotted or just be identified with talent. That's not it. It's a businessman. Now, I'm going to not mention who it is that I signed a contract with, but when I signed my first record deal, the record label said to me the following. They said, we're not signing you because you're a brilliant singer. We're signing you because you understand business. Because they are investing in you and they want a return. So if they can see that whoever they're investing in is also concerned about getting return for themselves, automatically they're also going to benefit from it. And when they said those things to me, I understand for the first time what this whole game was about. And then, yeah, so obviously representation, so I understand the business. And secondly, most importantly, is don't even worry about singing a song if you don't deal with how to handle rejection. And if you can't make it, then you fake it. In other words, if you are insecure, find a way to don't act like you're insecure, but just don't take to the rejection. You see, offense is oftentimes given, but it doesn't mean you have to take it. And importantly, when it comes to rejection, is to identify that there are a lot of reasons why people reject you. We as artists straight away think, well, we're not good enough. But maybe it's because that guy is jealous. Maybe because the person has a wrong motive. So it's understanding the whole concept around psychology as a musician. Is it really just because I can't sing, or is it jealousy? In other words, then you understand, you know where the rejection is coming from. So it helps you to deal with it, because a lot of people have stepped out because they couldn't handle the rejection because they thought they're not good enough. So for me as an artist, those two things are the most important thing, is to know your worth and to be secure in who you are, and to understand the business, because you see, they link. If you don't know who you are and you don't know your worth, how do you put a price on yourself to offer a client? Because your self-worth means that's what I'm worth. And so my talent is also, that is what my talent is worth. Because once you establish what your talent is worth, you know what price you're going to sell it at to the client. So it's quite an entwined thing, but it's taken me quite a few years to grasp this concept. It's become a nightmare, but it's become a nightmare that you can overcome. When I left the industry when I say the industry, just singing full time, I did other stuff in the industry, but singing, it was very different. You could only perform in a hire town hall. Those are the only venues that staged artists, right? And there were a handful of us. When I came back, where we were like 10, there were like thousands. But the difference was that you could only get your music video spotted on 2 programs on South African television. Now there's social media. So here's the difference. What is amazing is then you did an album of like 12 or 14 songs, paid a fortune, couldn't afford a music video whatsoever. And if you were lucky, you had 2 programs to play it on. Now what's happened is, it's different now. You don't have to do an album of 145,000 Rand or whatever the case might be, and have an unaffordable music video. You can do one song, make the music video yourself, and get more exposure on more platforms than you ever could have got in the past. Now here's the problem. You would say to yourself, okay, if I get so much more exposure now in industry than then, why don't I make more money now? Because it's not just being visual, it's being tangible. Clients want to see and be able to touch. They want to come close. So now the problem is, the danger with social media now is people think it's enough to just be visual on social media and don't get to performing live. So we had the opposite then. We were very live, went from town to town, but were seen very little in media. So we had to travel a tremendous amount to be seen in every town. Now people are seen all over the world, but you never see them perform anywhere because they think it's enough, and then they wonder why they're not making money. So my advice would be the following. In the new music era, do the following. Don't waste your time on full albums. Do a single. Get visual, but get tangible. So once people see you, let them get to meet you. And now that's where representation comes in with agents and publicists and so forth. But that's altogether another topic. No. Let me explain to you some of the different deals that you get. The problem is, if you want to make it personal, write what you want to write, wear what you want to wear, and own what you want to own, then a record label is definitely not for you. But if you are highly talented and skilled and you just want to make money as quick as you can, you don't care if a record label gives you the songs, you don't care if you don't sing your own songs, you don't care what they make you wear, you don't care where you sing, how you sing, sign a label. You're going to make money very quickly. But it's not sustainable, it's not long. Because generally, a label will sell you if you are the flavor of the look at the time or the sound at the time. What happens when that look and that sound disappears? What do you do then? So in other words, you want to be a sustainable artist that can write with the times and change your style with the times to adapt to what is coming and to adapt to the changes. Life is short and precious. Never build your self-worth on someone else's insecurity. Don't let other people's opinions dictate your worth. And just go for it. My followers, I'm going to say something very interesting here. I believe it's interesting. My followers do not follow me for my music. They follow me because I interact with them. I'm really not the best musician or the best singer, trust me. But I make an effort, and I'm telling you this, I can confidently say this, as vain or arrogant as it sounds. I can say this because they have said it. I'm repeating what they've said. They've said, Neels, we follow you because you allow us to connect with you. Stay in contact with your people. Be a people's person. Because what you must understand, and I'm going to give you the key that I believe, because the day that your music stops, you want the people that followed you to actually follow the new product you have to offer. If they just follow your music, when your music stops, your following stops. But if you interact with your supporters that have been there for you, they will buy whatever you have to sell because they're following you, not just your music. So my belief is become a person that people want to follow rather than a product that people want to use temporarily. And to me, that is the key to success, is regardless of what you do in life, become a people's person and not just a talent. I lost my voice for 5 years, and I soon realized that talent can be taken away from you in a second. But you as a personality and as a person is the only thing, and your relationship with people, that are sustainable. So, I mean, I could sit here for hours and go on with advice, but funny enough, my advice is not music related. It's human related. We are people. Just care for people. What can you do with your talent? It's a God-given gift that you got for free. So use it. Freely received, freely give. That platform is not there for you to elevate yourself. It's there for you to be able to reach out further. So use it for the good and just enjoy life. And God's giving you a gift, do it. If He approves of you, He gave you the gift, so you use it. He's the only one who needs to approve. If people don't like it, tough. They can follow other artists. Just go for it. I don't know what else to say. It's as easy as that. I'm lucky. I just want to end off with this. I'm lucky that I had to choose very early in my life who I'm going to please. Now, not everybody's got different spiritual beliefs. So I'm just speaking for myself. My final saying is the following. Who you choose your source to be is the one you choose to please. Now, I believe that God gave me this talent, and He's the only one that I need to please. Faithfully work on my gift, faithfully use it the way He gave it to me, and He will look after the rest. If I identify the people as my source, I've got to please them forever, and it's impossible. Hi, everybody. My name is Neels Moir. Thank you so much for having me on Men's Inc. It's been such an honor and such a privilege, and thank you so much for everybody that's faithfully followed me over the years. I love you to bits, and you know that's the truth. It's not just something that I say. Have an awesome day. and be blessed.